Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Triforce podcast.
Welcome.
We're back. It's been a little couple of weeks of half-term holiday for some.
Yes.
For children.
And
as a result, people with children have been having either a trip away or having to try and figure out how to have them looked after and juggle work.
Hey, listen to this one. Listen to this one. We were meant to go away. We were meant to just go to France for a couple of days. Everybody was looking forward to it. Good times, everything.
Everybody.
All of us, my whole family, all five of us, were looking forward to going away. The night before, we hadn't started packing yet. And my wife got all the passports out. She looked at her passport and she's like, "Oh shit, I got to renew my passport soon." It's like, "Oh, how long do you have left on it?" She's like, "I don't know, just like under 3 months." I was like, we're fucked. Like, we can't go.
Yeah.
Because you have to have at least 3 months left on your passport now to travel to Europe. And because we left the EU, it's even more strict now. So we had to cancel. It sucked. There you go.
You had to cancel the whole thing.
We had to cancel the whole thing. Yeah. They wouldn't have let us in. Yeah. And we were like, oh, man, maybe we can just chance it. And we kind of thought, like, we better not, just in case we get there and they deny us and the kids start crying and getting scared and stuff. You know, it's not like the longest journey ever. It's like an hour on the boat or whatever. But, you know, it's a lot of upheaval just to get there and be denied. So we decided to just cancel and not go. And we spoke to a bunch of people after, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, you did the right thing." Like, there's no fucking chance in hell they would have let you in. Like, they're so international border guards and stuff are so strict. Like, there's no way. So I feel like it sucks, but, you know, at least we didn't accidentally go, because it would have been worse.
You like the kind of family of five who would be immigrants, you know, looking to stay there illegally for longer
Absolutely.
than 3 months.
I mean, I had my Chicago Bulls hat ready to go and everything. I was ready to pitch up. I was ready to fucking join a gang once I got there and everything.
France is very alluring. Very alluring place.
Yes.
And, you just can't help but
just wanted to immerse myself in gang culture as soon as I got there, you know?
Well, I think that's, if you go on holiday, you really should immerse yourself in the local culture. So if you go to somewhere that's got a lot of gang troubles, you should join the gang. Right?
Absolutely.
That's the only way.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Join them, exactly. I mean, I'm thinking that these gangs are onto a moneymaker, because they could run tourist days where you can join our gang for a day, motherfucker. And it's the same. You do a few drive-bys, you rob a few liquor stores. You know, shoot another gang guy, an enemy gang guy.
Yeah, that can be like that can be the finale at the end of the day. And at the end of your day out, you get to bust a cap.
Everyone will enjoy busting a cap in the ass of one of those bastards who wears blue. We wear red, of course. That'd be a hell of a day out.
So our Easter holiday plans were scuppered right at the final hour, but so it goes.
That is a disaster.
Yeah, so it goes. We had a good week anyway. I think we made up for it, you know, like there was some disappointment. People were bummed out for a couple of days, but I think we turned it around. It was all right. Went to see the Minecraft movie, which was you know, didn't fall asleep during it, which is my it's my measure of whether a movie is okay or not.
We enjoyed it. We went with. I mean, obviously, we've got a long history with Minecraft. They did invite us to the premiere in London. But they have a habit, YouTube and these other people, of treating a YouTube channel as one person, right?
Yes.
They just assume that that's how it is. And in reality, any YouTube channel of any decent size is not just one person. It's at minimum that person is not want to go to an event on their own. They're going to want to go with their partner, or perhaps the person who runs the channel, or perhaps the person who edits for the channel. Which, you know what I mean? Like, there's a huge amount of people involved, even the smallest apparently seeming significant YouTube channels. And even if it is genuinely a one-man job, they're not going to want to go on their own, not knowing anyone, to these events. Like, I get invited by YouTube to some event, and it's like, how many tickets are there? Oh, it's one, and strictly no plus ones. And I'm like, who's going to this? Do you know what I mean? Who are they? So that's by the by. But I feel like it is the end of an era, right? Like for us, it was 15 years ago or something that we started playing Minecraft, and
you guys, yeah,
it was integral to like where we got started, and Yogs, and the whole thing that we've got and built, and it's kind of but so we did go. We booked. We didn't book out the whole cinema. We actually just found a showing that was empty, and and said, "Book tickets here, people." And so I booked a chair, and I was booked a chair next to someone. I was like, I don't know who I'm going to end up in. I booked a sofa in Everyman, and for me and my partner, who had a really bad day and was incidentally doesn't really have any knowledge of
real
Minecraft.
Life or in Minecraft.
Okay, yes. My partner had a terrible day in Minecraft, and we watched the movie.
She lost 10 diamonds. She was so pissed off.
Oh no!
And we booked to see the movie in Minecraft. We could have done that. Honestly, we could have done a thing where we just built a cinema in Minecraft,
you guys,
and everyone
you've lost your
came
touch.
along in Minecraft.
10 years ago, you guys would have been all over this, and now you've lost your touch.
If COVID had, carried on and we'd all been locked down and still and stuff, I think maybe people would be doing that kind of shit. They're doing a screening in Minecraft, a screening in all these things. You know what I mean? I feel like we have the technology. There's been mods for about 10 years to watch TV and films in the game. I think that's
do you know what?
Be an interesting experience. That's just an idea for another time. But I enjoyed the movie. Have you seen it, P-Flax?
No, but what I have seen is the
memes.
No, the audience reactions.
Oh,
I saw some of those.
Now,
we didn't have any of that when we went, but
no. But I know people were saying, "Oh gosh, this is awful. These Zoomer audiences or alpha audiences don't know how to control themselves." I've been saying this, and I'll die on this hill. This should be the future of cinema: is having much more rowdy, interactive, fun, group activities in the cinema, because that's the only thing that they can do that you can't do at home. You can't watch it at home with a group of people. Just like going to a live football match is different because you're in the crowd and you have fun. That's it. If you think the traditional cinema experience is sitting very quietly in a darkened place and watching the screen, you can do that at home. And it's cheaper, and you can pause it and go to the toilet. The snacks are in your house, but you couldn't invite 500 other people along for a huge group screening of something and have a real laugh. I could
not agree more. Obviously, I don't agree with the throwing popcorn.
I do. Fucking do it. They should encourage that. Here's what the cinema
they should throw it into my mouth if they're going to throw it.
They should sell fake plastic popcorn.
No. They just have to get a Hoover. You just have to get a big fucking Hoover for the start.
A popcorn Hoover.
And they Hoover it up. Or you have a screening where the theater is almost like, like a football stadium, where you've got terraced fucking seating with just fold up plastic seats, much easier to clean. And you don't, you just have this is the live experience movie theater and whatever.
I honestly can't agree more. I genuinely, for example, when we went there were a few people in the cinema who weren't Yogs people. And I almost thought of saying something to them like, guys, we're going to be laughing and stuff. Is that okay? But then I realized, what am I doing? Because that is the whole point of this. If you feel it's funny and you guys laugh at it, that's okay. It's not like we're heckling, or actively standing up and making a fuss. You were going to apologize to people for laughing during a movie. I was almost prepared, though, because I didn't quite. We had Simon along and stuff, and everyone and Oz, and and Simon was making some noises at some various points, when something was weird or funny or whatever, and it was kind of nice to have. It was nice to have the cinema full of people we knew, and so I knew there was going to be a little bit of like when people did the chicken jockey or whatever, someone was Rabs was going to cheer at it or whatever, and yell chicken jockey and stuff like this. I don't know. It was these memeable moments, and people genuinely are. Yeah, you're right. It's more. It has to be more of a communal experience. If everyone is if I laugh and someone shushes me,
right.
that's like, what the fuck? But people don't laugh at the same things. That's the thing. Like, I was sat next to Duncan, and I don't think we laughed at the same thing
right.
like once. He was laughing away at something, and I was laughing away at something else that he didn't find funny. I don't know. It was a kind of, but he was setting me off though. We set each other off, like the cinema. I think other people started laughing at stuff because I think otherwise I would, if I watched it at home or in silence, I don't think I would have laughed much at all. But because there were so many weird bits in the movie and so many cringy bits and so many stupid bits and bad bits too, right?
Right.
Like, and dumb bits. Like sometimes, like I think I enjoyed it more because I was surrounded by people who were kind of giving me this almost like just sort of running commentary of the movie. And I mean, I obviously, I don't know, I didn't expect to enjoy it, but I think I did. So I can't.
Well, I have no intention of seeing it. I did go on holiday.
You have no intention of seeing it?
No, I have no intention of seeing it.
Oh.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
I'm not having a go. I'm just saying. Did you guys watch the new series of Black Mirror yet?
No.
Yes. I've watched it all.
Where do I watch? Why do I watch
Netflix.
that? Oh, okay.
Netflix.
I think this is my favorite series of Black Mirror yet. I think every single episode is really fun and really good, and some of them are extremely thought-provoking. My standout episode is the Thronglets episode with Peter Capaldi, which, because I've watched it myself and then watched it with other people, I've actually seen it 3 times, and I say, bring on the throng. I want to be thronged up, baby. Throng me. Throng me now.
It is. So each of the episodes is.
They could reboot the thong song and make it
throng. Yeah, that would be something.
That's a reboot. I think we need. That sounds like a good one.
It's honestly brilliant. Back return to form after, quite frankly, some ropey seasons.
I thought last season was Joan is Awful was a really good episode. The one where the woman has a Netflix series made about her life that precisely.
That was very interesting.
That was a great episode, but I think the rest of it was like, there was some good moments. But this time, there's an episode with Paul Giamatti, and that's absolutely brilliant. The Peter Capaldi one that I mentioned, of course. I liked the one with the black and white movie. I know some people didn't like that. I thought that was a good episode. And I thought the one with Chris O'Dowd and, oh God, I can never remember her name.
Karen from The Office.
Karen from The Office, yeah. Brilliant episode and genuinely horrifying. But I did think it was interesting that some of the comments in that episode are about how you sign up for one service, but then they add a new layer, and now the thing that you signed up for has become worse. So, for example, if I'm signed up for Netflix, what's to say that they won't add ads to that and then have a new layer that says, oh, this is the ad-free, which is Netflix Plus. Do you know what I mean? And then that becomes something else.
Basically, each of them is a little social commentary on something that's going on in the world or something that's taking place. And the first one is clearly about subscription services and corporate, the way the greed, greed, right, overwhelming any kind of other thought. And I think that there is, a lot of things to be gleaned. A lot of it isn't at all ever going to be a thing.
Yeah.
It's complete fantasy, being able to
I always think it's like what would be this but in extremis. So it's just saying, all right, well, AI, whatever, what's the ultimate of that? And I think that's interesting to explore is where is the worst place this could go.
But then also I think I just really respect Charlie Brooker's way to, because you can tell almost like he has been inspired, like in that. Again, we won't do any spoilers because you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. I'll watch it.
They're really worth watching.
They're like the episodes are like self-contained, right? You don't
100% self-contained.
Okay,
perfect. And they almost are worth watching in a way where you stop. You don't just binge the lot, right? Because I think that's a little bit like doom scrolling on TikTok, right? By the time you're on to the next one, you sort of haven't really had time to digest and like mull it over.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely do believe in that, where you have this little break between each episode and are like,
digest it a little bit. Think about it. Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, I talked to Daff about one of the episodes and we both had really different takes on it. It was really weird. It was like having a water cooler kind of chat.
What was the episode you had different takes on?
The first episode. About
yeah.
Because it was so kind of, some people think it's like, I don't know, it's not none of them are like physically gross out or like, any kind of graphic violence or graphic sex or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? It's not shock value at all.
No, not at all.
There's no graphic sex in it?
No, I'm sorry, but
fuck.
It's very much like what happens if people do this, and I guess it's just it's frightening. I guess is what it is.
But so there is one episode which is a sequel to another episode. So you will need to watch the first one of that to watch this one.
Yeah,
but
and I did rewatch
it
because because it's been so long since I saw episodes of Black Mirror. I just love that tech horror, that near future tech horror.
It's way more interesting to me to think, oh shit, I could imagine that. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem that far off. Rather than Alien on a spaceship, I'm like, well, who gives a shit? Oh, by the way, was it you, Lewis, that recommended that book about living on Mars, A City on Mars? Did you recommend this to me?
That wasn't me, no.
Okay, I guess must have been one of my viewers, but they recommended a book. It's by Kelly and Zach Wienersmith. It's called A City on Mars, and the subtitle is, I know, can we settle space? Should we settle space? And have we really thought this through? That's the sort of object of the book. And essentially, they analyze what people are saying about living on other planets, whether we should even do it, and what might be some of the difficulties. And honestly, I would say I'm about halfway through. And the conclusion so far is, I fucking hope I never have to live on another planet. It's going to absolutely suck. And they know that. And they're like, here's all the terrible reasons that it would be awful. It's very good.
I've been watching For All Mankind.
Oh, yeah. It's quite good, isn't it? I do find it a bit slow sometimes.
What is that?
It's Apple's theory. Sorry, Lulu, go ahead.
No, go for it, P-Flex.
Okay.
Is this the Tom Hanks thing? Is it a Tom Hanks thing?
No, I don't think so. I could be wrong. It's on Apple TV, and it is about what if Russia won the space race.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah. I think I know.
And put a woman on the moon. Like, that's how it opens, is they're all in a bar, like a bunch of people are at home, and it pans across all these different sort of people in America watching the moon landing, and they plant a Russian flag, and it's a woman who's the first person on Mars, on the moon. And that changes so much because, first of all, America has to catch up. They've got to do something even cooler, right? Because you can't let Russia win. And it leads to them saying, hey, we need to get more women in the program because we can't let them seem like the enlightened and cooler ones. So it brings about sort of gender and race equality before it would have happened otherwise. It brings on more money going into space exploration, moon bases, a Cold War in space, and it goes on from there. And the way this show works is, at the end of each season, you sort of advance a decade, say, and see where we are now. And it's interesting. I will say that I do feel like sometimes these series are too fucking long, and you have these flabby episodes where it's just almost like soap opera shit between a couple of characters, and I find that very tedious. If they tighten it up a little bit, I always think it would be better. But these streaming services want just content, don't they? So sometimes it feels a little flabby, but it is a good show, and I have enjoyed it. I haven't finished it yet, but I enjoy it.
I obviously do enjoy the both. I think I enjoy stuff that's within the realms of reality. I've talked about this a lot on this podcast, but I like the alternate reality stuff, and I like seeing what's different because I like history.
Oh, yeah.
In the same way that I enjoyed Oppenheimer and things like this, and they,
that wasn't alternate history. That was... Well, it's like obviously fiction, historical fiction, isn't it? Really, but I mean, they did make.
But
it's
nice to see those characters that I've read about and heard, and heard about walking around doing stuff. And it's nice to see these astronauts, Neil Armstrong, and some of the others. Some of the characters are real. Some of them are based on real people. Some of them are fake, made up, and some of them are half. So there's like this big one of the main sort of female leads in the first season is based on a real character, Jerry Cobb, who was a really excellent pilot and flew planes and things her whole life, and absolutely would have been part of the astronaut program if sex discrimination and things like this hadn't been a thing. So I know it's kind of fascinating to see this alternate history in the same way that the alternate World War II one, A Man in the High Castle. Quite enjoyed that, just from a kind of
I do think it went on a bit, but it is good.
It was. I think sometimes these things, the first season is really where they have their strength, And I will say that generally too. Like I think that sometimes these shows, these and everyone's first book and their first show and their first concept. Again, part of the reason is that you're coming into it fresh. It's a new thing. It's a new idea, and having more of that is less satisfying.
Right? Have you read the actual Lord of the Rings books, like the trilogy?
Oh,
yeah,
I don't remember.
Years and years and years ago.
Here's the thing. I'm at a point now in my 40s where you say to me, have you seen this movie? And I'll be like, yeah, 20 years ago.
Right.
I can't fucking remember
what happened. I can't remember not going to ask
any
you
of the names
trivia
of the characters.
about it. I'm not going to ask you trivia about it. I'm just going to say, did you think, like, if you'd read the first book, The Fellowship of the Ring, I would say that that whole trilogy gets more exciting and cool as it goes on. Even though the origin story is book one. Book one is basically setting up books 2 and 3. And if you think about The Fellowship of the Ring, the actual book, it is like, people talk about games being walking simulator or whatever.
Yeah.
That is what book one of The Lord of the Rings is. I remember reading it at the time and thinking, how the fuck am I going to finish this book? Because it's so slow. Them getting together in the Shire and deciding to head off, and them heading off, it is like every footstep they take is commented on. Every bit of scenery is commented on. The whole Tom Bombadil fucking thing. The whole thing with the things in the barrow.
Like me,
it's so slow.
Here's the thing with me and you, and I'm one of these people who reads every word of a book.
Right?
And I feel like it's cheating.
I skip the songs. Fuck
I
that.
can't be dealing with reading. In a sense like that, I'm happy to skip the songs, any of that nonsense, because I'm not listening to it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to play the song version on Spotify while I'm reading it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like that. But I feel like some people are not afraid to skim.
Who does that?
And you meet these people who read, 7 books a week, and the secret is they're not actually reading them.
Shocking. Shocking.
They're just skimming through them. They get, they're like, they quickly at a glance pan through.
You know what these guys are? They're like the people that watch YouTube at 2 times speed, which I have been doing more.
Really?
If I'm like, I know where this is going, I'll just 2 times it. And then when it gets to the interesting bit, I'll slow down. But a lot of it, once you 2 times it, you realize how much is filler.
But you've done this as well. I find myself doing this in games more as well. Certain games where you can click through the narrative.
Next.
Wall of text.
Yep, I'm out.
I'll let the wall of text load, and I will at a glance see snippets of it. I'm like, orcs attack town.
Something
okay,
tower. Yeah. Go.
My
I don't want to
daughter. Click. Like blah 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 blah. Like rescue.
When
okay,
I was
click.
a child. Next. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly right. And so you're like, you get to the end, and you're like, I think I got the gist of it.
Yeah.
And the quest thing pop-ups, and it's like rescue the orc's daughter, and you're like, okay, cool,
no problem, got it.
It's like,
I understand where they put it in there. Some people love all that backstory, but my mate is always teasing me. My mate Axel is always having a go at me about how in these narrative games, I'm just like, escape. Just get me out of this fucking dialogue and get on with the game. I think that's partly terrible lack of attention span. And also just, I don't trust the writing in a lot of these games to be worth reading. Like, I will watch it if it's cack. I will enjoy it more if it's really bad dialogue. But if it's competent, I'm just like, this is just competent. I don't care enough.
Here's the thing, P-Flax. If you notice it, that means it's either bad or up its own arse. Like Disco Elysium was
I hated that game.
Up its own arse. Like
so many people tell me that, mate, you should play Disco Elysium. I was like, I played it. I made it an hour in, and I thought, this is a load of absolute wankery. This game is someone who's had a vertebrae removed so they can suck themselves off. That is my review of Disco Elysium.
I completely agreed. However, I did get into it once I got over that.
I didn't.
And I had a blast with it. And I do recommend it.
I could not stand all the extra layers they kept adding on of just bullshit. The bit that I tapped out on was the thing where they have that thing that forces you to smile or something. I was like, oh, fuck me. This is so on the nose and wanky. I just can't stand it. I can't stand it.
It was clever. There were some real clever ideas in it. I really enjoyed it. I recently actually played the RoboCop game
that
you
was
played on
fun,
Steam.
Right?
Which,
RoboCop?
Again.
Yeah, dude, you not played it.
No.
There's a game called RoboCop Rogue City.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Now, here's the thing about the game. They've clearly watched the movie and made it into a fucking game. And it's like,
what did you expect?
Good in the sense that RoboCop was janky as fuck. Okay, back in the day. Like, it was this kind of guy, like very woodenly.
They got the music in it too?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You're RoboCop. You have the gun that goes brr, brr, And if you pat the lads in the head, their fucking heads explode. You can blow limbs off. It's so much
like
fun.
the movie. It's like it's like doing the movie.
But what is it? Just a shooter?
Yeah,
you've got to do like
you're
detective
RoboCop
shit.
Stomping around. You've got like the shitty 80s overlay. You've got like a 80s gun. You've got 80s characters with 80s hair.
You
doing
walk
like
around
80s
in
stuff.
the town and you have to like solve crimes and shit. There's like little
And you
crimes
say,
you got to solve.
Freeze, scumbag, and you shoot them in the balls. It's
Stay out
fucking
of
brilliant.
trouble.
Like I had a. Now, of course, I don't think that it's actually even that well reviewed. The game generally,
It's all right.
It's very positive on Steam. But as someone who remembers very fondly RoboCop from when I was a teenager, I had an absolute. Like I'm not like a big fan. I've not got like the fucking Funko Pops. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
I'm a
yeah.
casual.
You don't?
Yeah,
RoboCop
was
fan.
fun back in the day. It was fun,
It's an older movie, right? And
It's an
kinda
older movie,
weird,
sir, but it checks out.
But it does. That's the thing. And I think the playing through the game and being in the universe was just great. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so often people sell the rights to a franchise and you get such a different product. And it doesn't even feel like you're in the universe sometimes. Like the amount of, I don't know, Batman or Jurassic Park or things like this, games that I've played or different branded games, it just doesn't feel like it. But because there isn't a RoboCop extended universe with 50 movies,
Right.
It's very pure what the product is, right? And so I just being that dumb character stomping around and it felt real. It just felt real beefy and 80s, and I don't know. I liked it. So yeah, RoboCop Rogue City. I saw you'd played it, P-Flax, and was like, okay,
Yeah, it was bands. It was bands. It was really, really fun.
I sort of use you as a little benchmark for how many. Like I look at Steam and I'm like, Pyrion Flax has played 18 hours of this, and I'm like, okay, I'll
18
probably like it.
hours? What is it like?
Well, not of RoboCop.
What is it like?
No.
Is it just like a
Pyrion did 13 hours.
like? Is it like a
Yeah, and I
linear
finished
shooter?
it.
You just work your way through the story, or
No.
whatever?
It's like I mean, it's kind of the story is not particularly elaborate, but you have to solve these little crimes along the way. So you'll go to a new area and you'll walk about and you'll find some evidence of this, or you'll be called out to that. You've got like the police base you have to go back to. You're just solving little crimes and shit.
Right.
Towards some other, there's like a big story arc. And then there are sort of these set piece elements where you have to blast your way through enemies and shit. It's fun. It is a fun game.
But then you'll go through a doorway and you'll be in like your like suburban bungalow, and your wife and the cot and stuff will be in the next room or whatever, crying. And like because you're obviously RoboCop
You're still
is
struggling
like,
with the human
was
side
a man.
of him. Yeah, I would
Part
say
man,
that's
part machine.
the weakest part of the game.
What you
I
get to? What do you do in your house? Can you like? Can you build it or anything?
Yeah, you have to
Is there
clean the
anything you
gutters.
can do around the house?
Your wife's like, honey, can you take the bins out? And so you have to do that. You have to check your mail. You have to mow the lawn.
For people who think
Fuck
that
me.
your wife asking you to take the bins out is some kind of, kind of slightly sexist stereotype, Mrs. F literally said to me before I came in here, "Can you please take the bins? Can you please change the bin when you finish recording?" Like she just hates doing that.
I had to do the bins this
smell of the
morning
bin
myself. Actually,
drives her mad. Yeah, I don't give a shit.
I've been putting off doing the bin. My partner's been away, and I normally don't do it. It's like a game of chicken with the bin. That's the thing. But I really should. If I step back and use my human brain instead of my animal brain for a second, I would realize that doing the bin would get me a lot of good boy points, and I will do the bin. But do you know what I mean? I
instead
have
you're
to,
arguing.
I have to step back. No, I'm automatically not doing it because it's stinky. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but,
you just got to do it. I mean, Mrs. F hates any kind of job that involves something that's going to stink. She has. I have barely any sense of smell. So to me, emptying the bin is no big deal. Like I do that. I do the cat litter. And there's a few other mucky jobs around the house. I'm the one who does that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I don't mind a mucky job, but there are limits. Cleaning up dog shit is one thing I absolutely fucking hate doing. I don't know why.
Do you hate the way of the bagging, like the warm? You put the plastic bag on your hand, you go down, you pick it up, and then you have a.
What about
wiping
up puke? That's a bad one too.
Who's puke?
My kids puke. So
I don't mind that. It never bothered me.
Really?
Wiping up my kids sick.
Even saying that stuff makes me feel a bit queasy.
I hate wiping it up. I hate knowing that it's about to happen as well.
Yeah,
nowhere near a toilet, and you're just like, fuck me, like, this is happening.
Feel you are like, oh fuck, damn it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So wait, Lewis, if you look at games that I play, have you played Ultimate General Civil War?
I looked at it and I was like, I can't be dealing with this one.
I've got 441 hours of that. I think, Lulu should have
That is the biggest fucking P-Flax shout out I've ever heard.
What, Ultimate General Civil War?
Ultimate General. I tell you what, I'm not really all that interested in the American Civil War.
Oh, it's a fascinating war. It's absolutely fascinating. It's one of the first, I think it was probably the first sort of modern war that was like if you think about World War I, which came 50 odd years later, 60 odd years later. First of all, I think the American Civil War is fascinating because if you want to talk about alt histories, the United States of America could have gone down a very different route if this war had gone a different way. The fact that it was like a civil wars are always interesting to me because it's just crazy that within your own country, like a lot of countries have had civil wars. I always find them very interesting. And this was semi-old school kind of Napoleonics because you had lines of men, you had a cavalry, artillery, infantry, that's it. But you had these advances coming in that we were just not ready for the level of bloodshed that there would be. And it is insane how many people died in some of these battles. I think I was talking about the Ken Burns Civil War documentary maybe in previous episodes. Amazing.
I didn't watch that one. I watched the Vietnam one, but the Civil War
which is
one,
so the Civil War one is really good.
Yeah.
Oh, can we just do this really quickly? I just
go for it.
Found this. This is on
a lot of shout outs today.
This
shout
is
outs
on
to the Civil War.
Yeah, shout out. This is on the Newsround part of the BBC website. So Newsround is like a kids' news.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I wonder if we can solve this quiz. This is Quiz of the Week. Have you been following this week's news? Do you guys want to do this?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I've been.
This is a kids
even though I try
quiz.
not to.
This is kids' news.
Yeah.
What world first have scientists grown in a lab this week? Skin, tooth, eyeball, bone.
Oh, it was a tooth, I think, wasn't it?
You're going to say tooth?
I'm going to say skin.
I'll go for eyeball. So I've selected tooth. It was tooth. Scientists at King's College have grown a human tooth in a lab.
Wow.
Right, next question. We know this one. Which pop star went on a fucking trip to space? Katy bloody Perry, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Absolute
she's an astronaut
waste of
now.
Time. I hated this, not because it was just a bunch of rich people being sent up into space, which is like, for them and not us.
Not space, is it?
Not quite.
It was technically space. It was technically space.
Well,
no, it was. It was.
What's it called? The Kármán line.
Yeah,
or whatever.
It was past that line, but they were in space for 4 minutes. I will say this: doesn't make them astronauts. It's not a big deal.
Did they have to do any training whatsoever to go up?
No,
there?
they just got in the thing.
Just got in,
put on their little spacesuits, and went up. And they were in space for 4 minutes, and then their vessel, the sort of pod that they were in, comes back to Earth. That's it. The rocket went up and came down within like a minute, which is incredible. The re-landing rockets that these Blue Origin and SpaceX have is genuinely incredible.
Yeah, they are impressive, yeah.
Really sort of future tech that you think, how is this a thing? But all
really
they were doing up there was going,
watching them.
Woo! 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 Was about the gist of it. And then they came back and said, oh, it was amazing. Yeah. I was like, yeah, of course. I'm sure it is amazing going up that high. But you turned going into space into a fucking ride. Like, this is just a ride at this point. Like, it's not that different from those rides that take you up really high and then drop you. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's essentially all this is, a very expensive version of that ride.
But I genuinely think that it is super fucking dangerous.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to go up.
I think, like, it is just a gamble, right? I mean, like that tourist submarine,
Oh God!
It's only a matter of time before one of these goes off, goes
yeah,
bang,
of course.
Right?
I mean, it's obviously not as safe as getting in an airplane, and it's pushing the extremes of tourism, if you like, blasting people into near orbit, or whatever you'd call it, just past the Kármán line. So you couldn't orbit there. I think you'd be too close.
I think a lot of people are scared to fly, let alone go in a fucking. And so you got to give them a little bit of respect.
I do give them some credit for that.
Risk.
However, this was an all-female launch. That was the whole point. It was just all women on there. Put them into space. It was meant to be this kind of feminist thing. All that Katy Perry and a couple of the others were talking about was what their outfits were going to be. And I just thought that is such a shitty message. And this is Katy Perry who put out that song, it's a woman's world and you're lucky to be living in it. If you watch that video, it's like the most dated vision of, feminism. This to me was a big anti-feminist movement. And as people have pointed out, the rocket looks like a giant cock. So you're stuffing a bunch of women into the glands of this space cock and launching them into space. I just think it's a bit fucked.
I agree.
Man. So it was
I agree. It does.
Anyway.
It does. Well, it looks actually more like one of them back massages. The classic.
The vibrator. Who won the Masters golf tournament?
It was Rory McIlroy.
It was. Well done, sir. I don't watch golf much,
I don't either.
But I knew that. Holly the dog had her last shift Ireland? At Alderhay Hospital, Children's Hospital. What was Holly the dog's job? Was she the cuddle manager, the guard dog, a doctor, or a nurse?
I think she was the cuddle manager.
Cuddle manager? I'll go with cuddle manager. It's correct. She even had a little NHS ID card that said Holly Dog Cuddle Manager.
Oh, that is so
That is
cute.
so good. And how big is England's tallest tree? 83 meters, 63, 43, 23.
England's tallest tree.
Yeah.
Well, we have been growing some giant redwoods in this country.
Really?
Yeah, I saw one when I was in
23.
Southeast England.
That's not very big. Oh,
23 meters is fucking huge, man.
It's 63.
63?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. 23 is not that big for a tree.
That's got to be like an outlier, world's tallest tree or something. Like they're not all that tall.
I've seen the world's tallest tree when we went to California, and it's fucking
there
insane.
There are 500,000 giant redwood trees in the UK.
That's not that many. That's not that many.
Yeah, we planted them.
No, come on, trees. They're everywhere. That's not that many trees.
I'd plant a giant redwood in my garden if I had a garden and a tree. And
I don't know how long they take to get to that height, but
that's true. I think some trees grow very, very slowly.
Yeah.
And I think which one is it? Which is this tallest tree then?
I don't know. Someone in England.
The tallest giant redwood in the UK is 55 meters.
Sweet. So
what's this other tree?
Hyperion, which is the tallest one in the world, is between 600 and 800 years old. It is absolutely fucking enormous. It's 116 meters high. 116 meters
that
high.
Is
what's it called again?
Hyperion.
Oh, that's a great name.
It's a great name.
The tallest one in England doesn't have a name, apparently.
It's just a tree.
And it's just a Douglas fir that is 66 meters tall.
Yeah. Can we? I just need to do something. We had an email. I know this isn't a mailbag part of the podcast, but somebody emailed in. I will try and find the email real quick. All right, here it is. So I know that this isn't a mailbag episode, but I wanted to read this one. This is from Robbie, a tiny penis haver.
Robbie.
I was recently driving through Twickenham for the first time in my life and saw a sign for Teddington. This made me chuckle because that's your name and you're in Twickenham. Indeed, Teddington is one of my sort of neighbouring parts of Southwest London. I go to Teddington quite often. But there is a follow-up email from Robbie who says, as per my previous email, I have discovered there is a town called Sipson, not far from Twickenham. And it's true. I've looked it up on the map, and Sipson is a little village that is to the west of here. Actually to the northwest of Twickers is Sipson. And he said he's now on the lookout for a Lewis-based place. And of course, there is Lewisham. Lewisham is in southeast London.
It's true.
And so we have a Teddington, a Sipson, and a Lewisham, all within, I'd say, about 20 miles of each other. So we could do the Triforce podcast from those locations. Teddington.
We should do that. We should go on tour, hire out some places in these places, and say we're coming at you live from. That would be fun, no?
Yes. I mean, I talked to you guys. I said last year we should do a live Triforce somewhere, but get a fucking theatre.
We should do one in Teddington, one in Sipsingham.
Sipson.
And then
one in Lewisham. Which one's best?
The problem is I ain't going to fucking Lewisham.
Why not?
It's pretty dodgy, dude. I'm not going to Lewisham.
Come on, they got to have like a nice part of it, though. No?
Maybe. I mean, Teddington is lovely. I will say that. Like, it's really nice. And I'm sure Sipson isn't
shut the fuck up about your
going to fucking
place.
Teddington sounds like the name of a CBeebies show, no?
Why, Teddington is here. Teddington wanted something for dinner.
Teddington was very horny.
Oh, my God.
And Teddington couldn't wait to get home to his wife.
Mrs. Teddington had the gyat that Teddington Bear desired. Sing the gyat song with me, children.
God.
Bunda, bunda, bunda. You know what a bunda is,
Mrs. Teddington was very sore after Mr. Teddington.
She said, please, Teddington, can we take a break? But Teddington was rock hard and wanted to go again.
On Tree News, I thought this is related. So there's a tropical tree in Panama called.
Wait, is this on? Is this Lose News or is this Tree News?
This is Lose News.
Oh, okay. This is Lose News.
But it happens to have a tree-related story in it. There's a tonka bean tree, okay, that has evolved in very stormy tropical rainforest, and it has actually been, because it's a very tall tree, it routinely gets struck by lightning, and it's evolved to survive lightning strikes, but use them to kill other trees.
Oh my God.
And especially things like parasitic vines that cling to them.
Right.
So
it's like lightning bolt. Like it's become a mage
in tropical forests,
tree.
lightning is a major cause of tree mortality, especially among the largest, oldest trees that play key roles in storing carbon. And so, yeah, they tracked these specific trees getting hit and found that they were much more resilient and showed no damage after being struck by lightning, whereas other trees around them and the vines that grow on them were all cleared away.
That's crazy.
Each lightning strike kills around 2 tons of tree biomass.
Jeez.
And so, yeah, this is the struck by lightning increases their seed production over their life by 14 times. There you go.
Wow.
Very interesting. They're harnessing the power. It's like Frankenstein. Do you know what I mean? That's what he wanted to do. Old Victor Frankenstein used the power of lightning. You know?
Old Vic Frankenstein, as we all know.
He'd love to have some of them trees growing in his back garden.
Oh, yeah.
It's alive!
Man, oh, man.
Wait, that's fucking. It's alive. Isn't that Gordon's alive? Isn't that what you're referring to?
I don't know. I can't remember. Okay, so it all gets blended together.
Haven't they done a new Frankenstein or something, or am I thinking of something else? I'm sure there's another fucking Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, they did. They're constantly doing this stuff because it's copyright free. So about Minecraft movie, originally Matt Berry was going to be the Steve. Instead of Jack Black. But because a lot of people are saying, this is clearly a Jack Black vehicle or whatever. But and Jack Black honestly does kill it, and he's great. You know, he really puts in so much energy running around. Like he's just his line delivery. But I think Matt Berry would have had a very similar role in a sense because he delivers lines in very odd ways and silly ways. And I think it would have been a very different movie if Matt Berry was Steve. But I still think it would have been interesting. Also, they're enacting the Minecraft music into the National Recording Registry.
But the like the opening music that was in the movie a couple of times, wasn't it?
It was.
Did you have to wipe one tear from your eye when you heard it on the big screen?
I didn't.
No,
but I recognized it.
Yeah, me too.
And it was. I'm glad they used it. Also, they're enacting a bunch of other video game music, such as the Mario Bros. Pretty iconic stuff.
What about the Dragonborn from Skyrim? That would be a good one as well. And the Fallout theme would be really good too. Imagine that.
Oh, yeah, that is good. Good idea. Well,
it's had like some variations, but they're all pretty good.
This year's National Recording Registry has also included Elton John's "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road," the original Broadway cast recording of Hamilton, and Amy Winehouse's "Back to Black."
Hamilton before.
Nah, me neither.
Really?
I like everybody always raves on about it, but I've never seen it.
I'm not a big musicals.
No,
guy.
I'm not a big fan of that period of American history.
Why?
God, no. Just again, I don't know much about. We don't get really taught this stuff, you know. Every American is taught about how
quite simply
in school. You're told about things that your country did well, right, or won. You know, like we're taught about these battles that happened thousands of years ago. You know that England won. Because and in America, every school kid is taught about the founding fathers and all this, right? Whereas we don't know shit about it. And so as a result, like I was kind of very it was almost like acted like a little bit of a education to me of who these people were. One of them was black, unbelievably, which is crazy. I didn't realize one of the founding fathers was
really. Which one?
Talking about
Abraham
Lincoln.
No,
in Hamilton. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Oh, I see. I was going to say, what the fuck? Yeah, they were all slave owners, half of them, weren't they?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, great. Hamilton's worth watching.
Right.
Sips, if you get a chance. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity.
When the hell am I going to get a chance to watch that, though?
I think they're doing it in
Let's
Bristol.
be real. You can watch them. There's like a movie of it. You don't have to go to the theater. You can watch the movie of Hamilton.
Well, okay. Yeah. Well, I'll ask the audience then. What would you recommend for a first-time Hamilton viewer to watch it live or to just watch the movie? Or there's always the third option: just skip both entirely.
I haven't watched it, so I can't comment.
No.
Oh, it is good. Yeah, it's obviously fascinating stuff. And I don't know, it is good. The songs are great. I enjoyed it.
Sorry, I did go away this week, like have a little Easter break.
What? Easter break before Easter?
Yeah, because it's half term, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like the Easter half term.
Right.
So the kids get 2 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. F got back from Japan yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and prior to her going off to Japan, we had booked this break. And we got this Airbnb down in Hampshire on the coast in a place called Hordle, which is near New Milton. Any New Milton or Hordleites, hello. And I booked this cottage. It was really beautiful, and it was 4 bedrooms. So the kids could have a room. My sister, who was going to come with us, could have a room. My mum would have a room, and me and Mrs. F would have a room. And it had like a hot tub, and it was really nice. And it was like, this was my mum's holiday this year, because we always try to take her on holiday once a year. She's on her own. She doesn't have much money, so this is the thing that we try to do. My sister couldn't go. Mrs. F couldn't go. So it was just me, the kids, my mum, and the dog. And it was okay. It was okay. But looking after, I was basically the adult for the holiday, which was kind of annoying, having to look after the kids, having to look after my aging mum, having to look after the dog. So it wasn't really a holiday.
No.
There it is. But Mrs. F loved Japan. Had to buy another bag to bring back all the presents she got for everybody.
Wow.
And scouted ahead very effectively for our holiday that we're taking later this year to Japan.
Nice.
So she's like, oh yeah, I know how to use this. I know what to do that. We're going to stay here. We're going to do this. We're going to do this, this, and this.
Well, man,
so like,
that's sounding more and more like a holiday now. You got somebody who is going to take the lead in all the...
Oh, God,
so she's going to be the adult.
You could just get your mojito and just sit by the pool and everything else will get sorted out. Perfect.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping.
Nice.
You could just take the bin out and,
just take...
That sounds banging.
Yeah, you just take the bin out once or
I'm
twice.
glad she had a good time.
Yeah.
So what else has happened? There's it's in random news. They brought back some dire wolves.
No, they didn't.
That had been extinct.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they brought them back.
Jurassic Park style bitches.
No.
Apparently this is
I
a real
will not
thing.
believe it.
They found
you can present me all the evidence in the world. I will never believe that they brought back a dire wolf specifically. Anything else, I'll accept. But
they have named them 2 males called Remus and Romulus and a female called Khaleesi.
Nice.
Okay. Good grief.
Oh yeah, I saw. Wasn't George R.R. Martin holding one of them or something?
Holding a dire wolf?
Yeah, he had. There's a picture of him holding one of them.
That sounds like AI. But
why doesn't he get back to writing? Stop doing other shit.
That's like the
he's on a break. George. He just wants to cuddle dire wolves, and he wants to live again. Leave him alone.
Every picture of him enjoying himself doing something else. People are like, yeah, why don't you get back to writing, you old fuck?
Could you imagine
if
you'd left Bodega on a if you'd done a Netflix Bodega adaptation and you told everyone there was another one coming and you'd released a sample chapter and then you'd left it for 13 years.
Well, I did release a sample chapter and I haven't written anything since. So,
well, man, why not?
Yeah.
Why you should never stop the gravy train. You should keep it going and going and going. Keep it flowing. Keep the valve open.
Well, I'll tell you what, it turns out it's very easy to write short stories.
Right.
Because you just have one idea and you explain it over 5, 6, 10 pages. But when you have to write an entire novel, extremely hard because I've never done that before. I've written short stories for years. I've always written short stories, but I've never had to sit down and plan out a novel and actually have like a whole story arc and flesh shit out and have it make sense and read like an actual book. So it was just an insurmountable problem for me. So
on that, there's two solutions. One is
ChatGPT.
I guess there's three solutions. The first one is to do what Stephen King does and just sort of write it and not give a fuck. I think his process is very famously just free form, see where it goes. And as a result, oftentimes it goes mental. And then some of his books have terrible endings or they don't make any sense, but he's always sort of universally acclaimed for that. And it does feel like, in a sense, that does give his books a sense of realism in some cases because, the reality is not a typical story structure, right? Of, a problem, resolution,
right?
Happy ending.
Man, who was that guy that tweeted back at Stephen King one time and called him a nobody that nobody knows about or something?
That's a really famous tweet.
Funny.
Right?
I love it when people do things like that, like on the tariff. Someone is like, if China doesn't want to buy our meat, buy our beef, let's just send it to India.
Right.
Not realizing that India is entirely Hindu or Muslim, and that as a result is a bit of an issue.
Yeah, pretty dumb.
So what the other things that the other option of course is just write it as a short story and then if you feel like it's got more legs, you can add more to the back and front. A lot of short stories do get developed into full novels once the writer has finished them. I think that's how a lot of the sci-fi characters back in the day wrote their big novels. It was they started with a short story and then they thought, well, we can make this more or less. And so that's the way to do it. So I guess just don't be scared. Be flexible. Either way, if you've got a cool idea, start slapping it down, or get in contact with Charlie Brookham. We'll get you in the next season of Black Mirror.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll just call up Charlie. Hi, Charlie. A friend of Lewis Brindley's here. I'm going to be writing one of the episodes of Black Mirror this season. I hope that's cool. Just slam the phone down. Is that the plan?
Yeah. You wrote Bodega. That's got the Jack Black adaptation coming out.
Man,
Matt Berry might have to be Bodega. Actually,
no, we need a cowboy to play Bodega, not Matt Berry.
You could get Walton Goggins, the guy who is.
He'd be great.
Yeah. He'd be a great Bodega, actually.
I don't know if he's old. He is old enough.
He's old enough. Yeah, he can do scruffy sort of cowboy as well.
Yeah, he's 53. He could absolutely do it. I mean, he would basically be playing the ghoul from the Fallout show is the problem.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he played really well. So
he did.
There you go.
That's got a lot of Bodega energy.
Can I also say Walton Goggins?
Yeah.
God bless you, America, and your names.
Well done. And he's kept it as well.
The grandson of Mrs. Goggins from Postman Pat, famously. She raised a good one.
Postman Pat. What if we got him to play Pat in the Postman Pat movie?
Yeah.
That would be with Walton Goggins as Postman Pat.
Yeah.
Early in the morning, just when day's dawning, Walton knows he's a real lucky fella. Because you go to America and fly.
Ted Glenn, you scoundrel, you ripped me off.
Damn it, Ted. Ted's one of the guys, isn't he? Ted.
Yeah.
Postman Pat cast. So you've got of Kulvinder Gear, Janet James, Carol Boyd, Archie Punjabi, Angela Griffin.
You got Ajay from he's the train conductor, the Greendale Rocket.
Why is it saying that Brian Cox was in Postman Pat?
I think he probably did one of the voices.
Oh, they must have done new Postman Pats. I'm talking classic Postman Pat.
Well, he could have been around for the classics as well. He's an old guy.
So a lad called Ken Barry, he's dead now, sadly. Rest in peace. He was the voice of Postman Pat.
Yeah.
He's best known for Postman Pat.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
all my kids have loved Postman Pat, by the way. Really love Postman Pat.
I'm just going to carry on with this news article.
You guys crack on.
You go.
No, crack on.
Police officers have dressed up as Batman and Robin to do a bizarre undercover sting.
Right.
So this is happening in London, basically on Westminster Bridge, where they're constantly running this cat and mouse game with these con artists who are preying on tourists, with like the ball and cup scam and all this stuff. There's tons of these little couple, like illegal.
But they're
gangs
jealous that
operate
somebody
these.
else is preying on people, so they gotta get in on the action.
So one of them's going to dress as RoboCop next.
Yeah.
But they obviously are so, the local police, these guys are all so well aware of each other that the criminals basically were able to just recognize them immediately from afar and, quickly, move into the crowds and disappear. So they dressed up in like Batman and Robin costumes to get the jump on them, which is honestly very creative. And one of the men who was arrested was called Kostica Barbu.
Which
I feel like was a very
That's a
great
Romanian name, I believe.
Kostica Barbu. And the next guy who was arrested was called Eugene Stoica. Or Eugen Stoica. Okay.
Well, when I looked for Kostica Barbu, it came up with Costco Barbecue.
Costco Barbecue, nice.
I actually bought my new barbecue last week.
Holy shit!
Went down to a garden center. Our old barbecue had run its course, and I bought an excellent barbecue that I can recommend. It's a Weber.
Does it have a propane tank? Or is it like
no? I prefer coals.
Yeah, I'm a coal guy as myself. Yeah,
so
clean, delicious coal.
Exactly. Tried it out last week.
You don't want to do a gas one?
Nah.
I've done gas ones before, and obviously it is much easier. And sometimes you'll run out of gas and not know you have, and then you're like, fuck, we can't do a barbecue, we've got no gas. But you can always pop to the corner shop and get a bag of barbecue coals.
Yeah,
easy.
Yeah. You get the ones that come in the little bag that you just light the bag on fire. Oh god,
so easy, right?
It's really
so
good.
easy.
Yeah.
It's like a paraffin-treated cardboard paper bag. Sorry.
Yeah,
it's just light the corners, and bam, it's perfect. And it's really, really good.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, so really, really
well.
handy.
There you go.
But the flavor you get from having the actual
flavor.
Yeah.
I mean Weber.
The flavor. I said flavor.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Flavor. From the Weber.
The Weber flavor is
check out the flavor from my Weber.
It's incredibly
My wife enjoys the flavor.
My wife likes the flavor.
From my Weber.
My wife.
So
sorry, carry on. What were you saying about the flavor?
Why is that funny? I've always found that someone just saying my wife when someone says my wife.
Hello, Dave.
I don't know why it makes hello, Dave.
It's a great voice.
It's so fucking dumb.
And Dave, I have some pegs belonging to you.
Those bag burning coals are great, and also I wouldn't normally use these at home, but like certainly when we go to like say Center Parks or whatever, you got to use those disposable barbecues. They come with the they got like the little paper inside, and it's got its own little metal grill, and it's have you seen those, the disposable ones? Little disposable.
I hate the disposable ones.
I hate them too, but you got to use them at Center Parks because they're worried that people are just going to burn down the whole forest. So
right. I mean, those things do start quite a few fires.
You have to just use those ones, but they're not bad. Yeah, they're really easy.
But they do start a lot of fires.
Yeah,
like a lot of the fires we have are because of people running a barbecue on like dry grass with one of those disposable ones, and then it all fucking goes up, and they're like, they panic. Also, I hate the fact that when you see it, people leave these black scorch marks on the ground where the barbecue was.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, great. Now the grass, you've murdered that section of the grass, and it's going to be a year before it gets back to normal.
Yeah.
Just for one fucking barbecue. Why'd you do that? Find a fucking bit of rocky ground and put it on there, which was basic fire safety anyway. Don't just bosh it on that lovely living grass and fucking leave a scorch mark in my park. Thank you very much. I hate that. And then just leave the whole fucking thing there anyway.
Yeah.
Animals.
Bunch of bitches.
There is a thing apparently called the Stupid Hackathon. Where people had to make stupid things, and some guy designed
We'd be very good at that.
Vape with a Tamagotchi inside it that dies if you stop puffing.
That is hilarious. Oh my god, I would love that.
Oh my god! Yeah. It's like who's gonna die first? You're in competition with your Tamagotchi.
It really is, isn't it? It's like you get your
survival of the fittest.
Your Tamagotchi. It's like, Papa. It's like, suck me. I'm dying.
Jesus Christ!
But I also die every time I take a suck.
You have to die so I can live.
Papa, I can feel it's coming close. I'm almost dead.
Is this the Boston Stupid Hackathon? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
Have you seen their website? Their website is like 2002 era internet website. This is really amazing.
I love that.
Oh my god, it's so basic. I love it.
Yeah,
there's no pop-up shit. There's no you're browsing it and just as you scroll down a fucking thing pops up asking you to subscribe to the newsletter.
Bold, underline, italics,
there's
hyperlinks.
No fucking it's perfect.
Hell yeah.
There's no cookies to accept. You just bosh in here. Oh god, I love this.
It's good, isn't it? Well, there you go. Yeah. I think that's enough actually today. We covered everything very nicely.
Okay, fine.
And, good one.
And so thank you for joining us, everyone. We'll see you all next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.